All right, I'm going to recall the meeting to order, so properly recorded. If I could ask for that motion again to allow...
Bill, hey, Bill, this is Vic.
Yeah.
Can we first do a formal roll call so we can establish that there are at least 4 members?
Okay, yeah, good. Good, thank you. Do the roll call first, yep.
Trustee Borowski, can you hear me?
No, do a formal roll call of everyone in the room.
Establish that
We have a quorum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trustee Christmeyer. Here. Trustee O'Connor.
Aye.
Trustee O'Reilly.
Aye.
And here. Trustee Tanucci.
Here. Okay, so we have a quorum. So now I need a motion to let Trustee Michaud as well as Trustee Borowski attend remotely.
Third time. Motion made.
Okay, second. So moved by Trustee O'Reilly, seconded by Trustee Kritzmeyer.
Trustee O'Reilly.
Aye.
Trustee Christmeyer. Aye. Trustee O'Connor.
Aye.
And Trustee Tanucci.
Aye. Okay, you're in the meeting.
Thank you.
If we could all rise. Say Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the
And to the
republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
God.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everyone. The first item on the agenda is the Homeowners Association visitors. I don't believe anyone's in the room from Beaver Creek, Denise Steinman, but are you on remotely, Denise? All right. From Glenstone, Frank Mundane, are you here? I'm sure everyone got invites, right? Okay, so seeing that there's no one from the HOAs here, we will now move into public comment. I will let everyone know that all public comment that we received so far has been posted to the village website. There's a lot of people in the room tonight. I'm guessing that some of you have public comment. If I could ask, if you do, to do your best to keep it as short and brief, hopefully less than 3 minutes, and state your name and basically address or where you're at in the village. And that would be great. So open it up now for public comment. All right, there's no public comment in the room.
You have one on the screen, it looks like.
All right. Yes, Helen.
Hello. My public comment is short and sweet. I would like to recommend that the Board of Trustees join with the Illinois Municipal League to file objections, stating objections to the revisions made to the Statement of Economic Interests, particularly questions 1 and 2 as being overly intrusive. And I would like to see the village join. I would like the village to join in the objections to this new form.
All right, Helen, thank you for that. And I do agree with you on your point there. So
I'll work with the village attorney to get our comments to the Illinois Municipal League. Yeah,
there's a new form for the Statement of Economic Conflict of Interest, and it's, yeah.
It's not about conflict of interest. The early statements are asking about your investments.
Yeah, well, I also found, there's limited amounts that you have to disclose too, right. But it gets pretty specific, especially if you own stocks and things like that.
Talking about the early ones,
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty snoop.
Yeah, so, okay, thank you for the comment. Any other public comment? All right, we're gonna move right along to the village planners report. Amanda, I see you here from the Mundelein. Do you have a report for us?
We just have a couple items that were in our written report. The 2 items were the Oakville Cafe that went to the ACC and got approval for some signs conditions. An exterior staircase for 145 over McHenry Road that had a rather large structure on the back of it, so that went to the ACC as well and had modifications done to that. It was approved of with conditions.
Any questions? All right, gave a great report, thank you. All right, so moving right along, next item is presentation, discussion, and consideration of a referral to the Plan Commission Zoning Board of Appeals of the Brothers Field proposal. So you want to start this off, or do we want?
The Purdy Brothers LLC, who are the management company and owners for the Brothers Field, had approached the village about opportunities to create an outdoor venue for entertainment. They've gone to a concept meeting with myself, the village engineer and village planners. They also attended a pre-planning meeting with President Jacob, Trustee O'Reilly, Chairperson Wilson, as well as impacted staff. The discussion was to refer to the board for referral to the Planning Commission Zoning Board of Appeals, and that's where we're at this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you. So Jesse, did you want to make a brief presentation?
Sure.
I'm going to go ahead and share my desktop. Let's do the best I can. I will minimize the video for the moment. And go ahead, take it away.
Okay, so thank you all for your time. Appreciate you guys being here, everybody in the audience as well. I represent Brothers Field. Some of you guys know me. I'm from Fred Astaire. I was in Buffalo Grove for about 12 years, and then we moved our franchise over here. I think that was we opened in 2017. We took over the old Red Oaks Furniture Company, Red Oaks Furniture store that had foreclosed. And just kind of been attracted to lawn growth. I found it initially through the church. My wife and I started attending the church, and then we would come, what do you do after church? How do you eat? And so we came to Lawn Grove to kind of look around, and we noticed a lot of the stores were in. And as you guys remember back then, this is kind of when we were with the gravel sidewalks, and we've come a long way. And it was a conscious decision to bring our business here. We kind of fell in love in town, and that's how you found us here. So we'll kind of proceed with this. Basically, the Brothers Field concept, this was not our original design as we came here. Many of you guys know we came here to do the dance franchise, that's what we do. But with the Red Oaks, we had to take over the entire plot to get the building that we want. And obviously what happened in 2020, we cut lemonade out of lemons. How did we get here? Really, it's organically. In March 14th, our Fred Astaire business was shut down. We were non-essential. So we were out of business, closed down, nothing to do. We had this big open field from the building we had just torn down. Started with a fire pit, just sitting out there licking our wounds because there was nothing else to do. Next thing you know, people in the community were joining us with this fire pit, and we said, hey, maybe this can be a thing. Then we had our first movie night. We threw up a big screen. My brother procured a screen from Wisconsin. We threw that up on the side of the barn, and the community was really overwhelming. The people that came out and enjoyed it with family and friends. And it was a couple of parents in particular that just kind of like came out, they're like, are you running this? We said, yeah, and they gave us a hug, just like tears in their eyes, and they were just like, thank you. The kids and families had nowhere to go, to be outside and to run around. And so it really kind of inspired us, and that's where all of this kind of came from, is fighting isolation. It's been something I've been doing with the Fred Astaire Dance Studio for a number of years. We try to connect people through dance, and we try to give them a community to not feel so alone. And funny, I don't know if you know that, but isolation is as bad for your health as smoking a pack of cigarettes and 6 hard alcohol drinks a day. Some of you might say that's my normal day, hopefully not this crowd. But anyways, it's something that we've always kind of fought that with Fred Astaire, and now we're trying to bring that out. So we dream of establishing a business built for the purpose of creating a strong and healthy community. We seek to promote tourism, bring people into town, and encourage our local neighbors to enjoy themselves in downtown Lawn Grove. Brothers Field is a community-oriented business established on the foundation of brotherly love. You can see my brothers actually there in the pink shorts. I wouldn't wear those. And then you got Bradley, our main man over here, who helps run everything. But brotherly love is really more than us. It's about the concept of the community, and that's what we want to have, and that's what we always encourage on the field. Month, days, and hours operation. We are a seasonal business. We're looking basically from May to October, about 6 months of the year. The nice weather, hopefully. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. would be the general hours of operation. You can kind of see this very well-drawn map here. I appreciate it. There's Old McHenry Historical Lane on the other side of Historical Lane. You would see Chatterbox. The building to the far left, just to the left of that would be the brewery, just to kind of get your basis and their sample lot. The Fred Astaire Dance Studio is that building just right on the left, and that's it. And then you can see where we've got our tiki bar and the tent set up there. Obviously, this is a very unique situation because of the COVID pandemic. We were basically allowed to kind of do things out of order, and now we find ourselves here again. Like I said, it wasn't the intention, it just started out as a need and moved from there. But you can see we've got a lot of open green space, and I think that's one of the attractive things that we really try to use. We have future plans, as I call our Old Red, the building on the far right, that was built in 1855, and we're hoping to put some restrooms and a kitchenette in there at some point to offer some more food options. This is just a couple pictures of kind of how it looks. Most people didn't even know those two barns were back there until we tore the old barn down. Kind of keep going. There you can see a little bit of the night when we have the live music. Over on the left, there's that little patio, which is the old fireplace from the building we tore down. It's kind of cool. We kept it, and there's an example on the right of the dance, a little bit more live music, and there's an example of the nightlife. People bring their chairs and fire pits and such and hang out. A new day. This is kind of something that, as we see the COVID restrictions lifted, consumers and businesses alike have invested in the outdoor spaces. Outdoor sound goes hand in hand with this change. The long growth businesses that utilize outdoor sound, some of them are here now. Buffalo Creek Brewing, Enzo Lucia's, Cork's, Broken Earth, Broken Bridge Treats, Fred Astaire Dance Studios, the historic downtown Long Grove Business Association, a variety of events. The Country House, Mom and Pa's Candy, Long Grove Community Church, and Brothers Field. So it has kind of changed the way that things work from COVID. Of course, everybody outside. I think the entire town found a new use for outdoor use, and many of us have made a lot of investments into that outdoor space, which does bring with it sound. For the 2022 season, we have two basic approaches. We've got concert style and intimate experience. Concert style is your PA speakers utilized for such things as live concerts and shows, although that's not the day-to-day. And then we've also got intimate experience, which is multiple speakers spread throughout the grounds. It's just kind of a quieter, even sound for everybody that's there. And like I said, this is just something that a lot of the folks that are represented in this room, a lot of us utilize that sound, and it's been a big part of creating a nightlife in town that I think we did not actually have prior to COVID, and it's been a very positive experience for a lot of businesses. Security, we utilize our own team on some of the larger events, a lot like you see now. We would utilize the Lake County Sheriff's Department and private security if that need were to arise. We're excited, proud to have partnered with the historic Downtown Long Grove Business Association in 2020, 2021, and 2022. You can kind of keep scrolling and you'll see some of the events. Scarecrow Day 2020 was, again, just really neat that what you guys allowed actually, and Long Grove was a town that did not shut down during COVID. When a lot of the people just kind of put their head in the ground, Long Grove was still finding ways to engage the community. Business Association was a big part of that, so it was enjoyable. You see the church is there, partnered on that as well, the Lake County Sheriff's Department, and our very own firefighters. Egg hunt, which we just finished this past weekend, it was a big hit. It was like 6,000 some eggs, something over that.
A lot of good eggs.
A lot of good eggs,
Yeah.
a lot of good eggs, lots of families coming through, and bigger and better. Chocolate Fest, when we had to kind of spread that out for COVID concerns and some of the restrictions when we were moving into festival phase, we utilized our field to kind of help separate the grounds. I see there. That's my niece. Scarecrow. There's more building scarecrows. We did that a couple of years now. And we also host the Long Grove Firefighter Winter Walkthrough, 2020, 2021. You can kind of see that. Firefighters have been really doing a great job of trying to reach out to the community, and we made our field available for them to do this walkthrough. So you can kind of see some photos. That truck's pretty cool right there. You see they go all out. We got a great crew. Some more pictures of it. Pet Parade was another big one.
It doesn't look like a dog.
I don't know if the pet is a big one or not. I'm not quite sure, but just again, it's another community favorite, and with the amount of space, we've got roughly 30,000 square feet. When you put the two fields together, there's just a lot of potential for community events.
I didn't know John Kopecki had a walking suitcase
Oh, yeah,
microphone.
that's like absolute. As soon as you got a hold of that, we never got it back.
There you go.
You see just a little bit more of the crowd coming out. Huge response from the community. Again, it was unusual times with COVID, but as you saw with a lot of the businesses, the outdoor space was absolutely clutch for many of us to make it through that pandemic. The In Motion Dance, they could not get a venue to perform as the venues were shut down, so we hosted them as well. So it was just nice again to be able to support some of our local businesses in town. You can kind of get a feel for the environment there. We've got the tents with the tiki lights. It's an open air space, live music, fire pits. We brought the wagon rides back into Long Grove, lawn games. We have plenty of seating there, but people bring their lawn chairs and kind of come hang out for the day. You just see more fun, and there's our tiki bar. Nothing too crazy, just began with a pop-up tiki bar. I can explain later how we hope to phase that up. Movie nights, that's really where it all began. We could host the community nights. You can see the big screen on the side. It's a 50-foot screen, and the good thing, we got a nice 3-story barn to put that on. And what we're really excited about is we just procured a sponsor for the movie nights. So now we're able to offer all 5 movie nights of the series in the summer free to the community. So just another cool thing that now Long Grove has its own free community movies. And there you can see we partnered with Signature Popcorn, they're a local business as well. Mom and Pop's Candy was out there, so I was going to get the creamery involved. You can kind of see there. Fairy Tale Festival, this one was a popular, fun favorite, kind of came out of nowhere. We hire professional princesses that come out and do games with the kids. They dress up, and it was just a blast. A lot of people had fun. We've got that planned for June 4th of this year. It goes from 11 to 2. And the kids come out, you can see a few more photos in there. They come out, they dress up, they get to meet the princesses and spend a little time doing crafts, games. This has caught a lot of traction. And a lot of people, again, just looking family fun to get out there and enjoy it. Fairy Tale Festival, you kind of see a little bit more there. And then Revive Handmade Markets, this was a brand new thing, which was kind of experimental. We did it during the monsoon last Sunday. If you would have believed it. I mean, it was like rain was silent. It was absolutely intense for about 12 and a half minutes. Probably half the vendors packed up after that. The ones that stayed out did well, though. And I did hear from a couple of the shops in town, they said they had increased traffic, and people that had gone to the market had also shopped around, which is a big part of what we want. I mean, the better that everybody does in town, the better we all do. So that went well. Hopefully, we can get another 2 of those planned into this year and increase that traffic as well. Blues Fest, just an example of a concert. We don't have many concerts planned, but this would be one where we bring in some bands from downtown. We're hoping to add some BBQ menu to that as well. Just a great night out, and you can kind of scroll through and see people, they get up, they dance, they have fun. Again, you just pull your lawn chair out, and come hang out for the day, enjoy the time in downtown. Private parties, sometimes we let people rent it. We've already kind of wanted to limit that, but the private party you'll see is where someone might come and rent the venue. If you can scroll down a little bit there. Different things, we actually don't want weddings, but celebration of life, fundraising events, anniversaries, family parties, we've had those types of things going on, so you can kind of see how that works. People can cater it to various events, community or private. We serve brats, burgers, hot dogs on a commercial grill on premise. We also use local restaurants. We encourage people that are coming in to get catering from the local restaurants, but if it's a larger event, we'll utilize food trucks and vendors to try and make sure we can keep up with the demand. You can kind of see a little bit more with the tiki bar there. We serve alcohol, non-alcoholic drinks, snacks. Nothing too much out of there as we don't have a kitchen. Kind of see there's Big Bad Bradley on the right cooking up the grills. We all have been certified for serving food and all that fun stuff. There you go, a little bit more with pizzas and restrooms. Right now, we're utilizing the indoor restrooms at the Fred Astaire Dance Studio, which is obviously right on the same lot. For larger events, we also have the outdoor restrooms. We also just kept the outdoor restrooms. We just keep them outside year-round, because as you guys know, we've got a bit of a restroom issue in the downtown Long Grove, so we just kind of keep them out year-round to help. That's the old red building that I was telling you about, where if there's something in the future, we've got a permit open for it now. We would like to build some commercial-sized bathrooms there, possibly partner with the village and finding a way to utilize that for everybody's benefit. Signage, basically, if you recall, when we brought the Fred Astaire, we were approved 3 colors. That's the black, white, and red. And if we stay within those 3 colors, I think the architectural committee said we were okay to add to that sign to the left. So we would just be adding a sign similar to the Fred Astaire and Buffalo Creek Brewing sign. And then also looking for a sign similar to the Fred Astaire one on the right for the Brothers Field. Landscaping, just looking to make some improvements. You can kind of see on the left what it was kind of left as, and we want to add some trees and just kind of beautify the area as much as we can. And then here you can kind of see the progressions and goals, right? So phase 1, 2022, we've got the pop-up tiki bar, we've got the tent, and and portable outdoor restrooms. As we scroll, there's a Papa Tiki bar, myself, my niece there. And we really utilize the same colors, the old red building in the front, the Fred Astaire Dance Studios, we match the exact colors and trim just to not put a powder blue building in the middle of town. Fuchsia, all that good stuff. So we try to, even though it was all kind of happening fast, we tried to stay within what we thought. Phase 2 structures, we'd like to look at getting in a permanent tiki structure, indoor public restrooms, like I had mentioned, kitchen, some dining, possibly a second floor residential office space. If you notice, there's another green bar back there. We'd like to start getting that utilized as well for first floor, possibly bar residential. And then phase 3, this would be looking ahead if all goes well. A pavilion-style structure to replace the tents. That comes at a very hefty price tag, so that would need to be something that we'd have to work towards in the next couple of seasons as well as possibly a permanent stage and a brick wall upgrade. Brick is very good at absorbing sound. We know it's one of the concerns. The material we think would be best for the future. And then tan barn, you can see adding more there. And then keep going, those are just some of the walls. That one on the left is actually the Seasons building. We've always been in love with that brick patio back there, so we're looking at something similar to that. And then phase 4, if things went well, originally, and if you remember when we had tore the Red Oaks building down in 2019, we were planning on building a larger event space in 2020, and then COVID hit, and it just changed everything. So that still would be on the horizon somewhere down the road if that would work out for everybody. We'd like to move that. And that's pretty much it. So thank you for the time. You can see a little bit of the crew there. That's us on the left. That's kind of where it started, and that's some of the crew on the right there. So any questions?
I have a question for Greg, and that's what exactly are you asking us to refer to the PCZBA?
Yes, asking that the proposal for this project and the zoning, and the accompanying zoning requirements be referred to the planning commission zoning board.
For the whole phase, all the
Yes.
potential phases?
Well, for this phase that they're presenting, each time they develop the next phase, they're gonna have to come back and look to see if there's any zoning issues or architectural issues. There very well may not be. We would imagine that most of the zoning issues would be covered, correct me if I'm wrong, Amanda, the zoning issues would be covered by the first go-around with the PCZBA. But architectural commission, depending on what the face of things look like, that may be a reoccurring.
Is there anything you anticipate, like, phase 1 goes like this, and then down the line, phase 3 may have something like, oh, not in this lifetime?
There is potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think if you do it in the phases that's being recommended, because you only have so much detail on what phase 1 is gonna look like. You don't wanna prove something that is, just a concept and not fleshed out with details. But you certainly wanna make sure that you're phasing in the appropriate level of comfort for the village.
you don't box yourself into a corner, so to speak.
So.
And granted that Brothers Field's been active for a year plus, there's still gonna be an assessment of how the day-to-day operations are carried out and where we can work with Brothers Field management team to tweak things and make them successful and make the downtown. But when we start talking phase 3 of the pavilions and building a structure, I mean, that's gonna have to have some strong look at.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
Do we have the ordinances in place to deal with this now?
And Vic?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
we don't. I mean, at this point, the concept doesn't square much with our zoning code at all. So we will have to have amendments, and it would seem to be a prudent thing to really take these in small bites, in part so that we can see how it operates when it's in a more, I don't want to say normal, knock on wood that we're going to make it go back to a pandemic stage, but in a more normal scenario. And I think if we take phase 1 and allow that to go forward, see how it plays out, that will allow us to better assess how this operates in the overall context of the downtown when the downtown is open. I think that what we've seen so far has been in fairly unique circumstances, and we haven't seen how it interacts with other uses. So we can certainly make the ordinances available to have this happen. And I think that we approve it if the board is interested for phase one with an eye toward future extensions. But I think that just as a matter of the departure that this has from some of our fundamental zoning rules, taking it as a first step for assessment is probably our best approach. Keep in mind, if we give them more expansive and permanent approvals, if we find out that it's really not consistent with what we want to see once we've returned to normalcy, that's going to be a harder thing to undo.
So we're going to be writing as this is being processed.
Yep.
Okay, so it's now heading into May. I know how quickly we move. Yeah, she's my alert. What are we going to do?
So I think we're going to do the one-offs is what we're going to do.
But let me finish what I was going to
Sure.
ask. Are we going to allow them to go forward now with what they're actually doing
And that's
while we review?
great question. We had sat down probably 3 or 4 months ago to begin conversation on how do we take this. And what I presented to them was my thought about, President Jacob had said, okay, this has drawn people in the town. Jesse wants to make this work. How do we make it work? And we tossed around, and I thought about Ravinia without it being, a super stage and thing like that. But right away I said, why couldn't we adapt this to a micro Ravinia model that allows the entertainment, allows food service and beverage service? We talked about it collectively, had some very productive meetings. Our staff from planning and community development were in each one of those meetings. But one of the questions were timetable on it, to your point. We're going to get it in front of the PCZBA as reasonably as possible, so we have everything that they can make an informed decision and give us direction on, or recommendations to the board on ordinances and amendments to ordinances. What we had discussed was doing a special event like we did for Revive handmade sales that happened in the monsoon. And then each event, up until the point that they can get approval, we would turn around and do a special event procedure on it. And we pretty much know how well that can go. We had some things with Revive, but that was all cleaned up, and I feel confident we're going to be able to move some of this forward for sure.
Okay, so if both sides are reasonable, which I think both sides are, then it shouldn't be a problem for them moving forward, because there are certain commitments they have to make at certain times, and they'll be comfortable that they can make them.
We, and Jesse can jump in certainly. I think we've had a very strong working relationship in understanding the village's position and the business needs that need to be met, and we've been successful so far, and I don't see that being impeded.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Well, I think the elephant in the room is the noise issue of speakers, and residents who are nearby who have issues with that. So, I think that seems to be, we had COVID and now we have post-COVID. So obviously, from what my perspective on it is, there's going to be a transition, probably, I would think, it isn't pretty much the whole barred versus, some structure or whatever to all of it. But the noise issue has not been addressed, and I don't know if.
Yeah, and I don't know that we have to address that.
Is that what?
The Plan Commission will be addressing that.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to, obviously, the one-offs that we give, right? We're gonna have to be looking at that. But this is what we're gonna give to the Plan Commission to look through all of this and come back with a recommendation.
Oh, okay, then that's fine. I'm fine with passing it on to the PCCBA.
And then it comes back to us. We can accept, modify. We could come back to the Plan Commission and say, hey, you need to look at this a little bit differently. We don't,
Right.
whatever. We can, those are all the things that we have.
Yeah, me, the main thing that's different here is we don't have the structure within which to keep this business is their business and not impinge upon or infringe upon the business next door, the business half a block away, or the neighbor who's, 100 feet away kind of thing. So
Right.
that's, to me, that's the, and that's 3 or 4 years away. So if you have a calendar that you can fill in, if you have an open day for private party or public party or whatever, it seems to me the lack of the structure is an issue, so. But I'm fine with referring it to PCC.
For the sake of the public's information, we can share this with the HDLGBA too. We just had it. As soon as those special events applications are coming in, they're coming straight to my desk, and I'm reviewing them, and I'm micro-reviewing them. I come back and I ask, okay, what are you doing for music? Where's your law enforcement? So for every event that's going forward as an independent event, that scrutiny will still be there. And one of the things I came right out and asked is about the music, because I know that's a concern for our public. And certainly having an open-air event, which is what's going to happen in Brothers Field, could potentially have the impact. But yeah, we're going to be looking at that closely.
Yeah. Maybe we should buy a piece of land and put a mini ravine on it, segregate it or whatever.
Yeah, did you have anything?
I like the concept. I think this is a valuable addition to the downtown. I also understand the neighbors' concerns. So it's my hope that we can find a way to make this work for everybody. And I understand that's part of the commission's job to recommend how we're going to do that. We'll look forward to see what they come back with.
Jesse, are you looking to be open until 11 on Sundays also? Okay.
Probably be 6 o'clock on Sundays, latest.
Okay.
Didn't your presentation say Sunday 11?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be sweet.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, for what, you all know where I live.
Yeah.
I can do the festival from my backyard when I'm outside. And I'm fine with it. It's entertaining on a Saturday. If it got to be 11 on Sunday and it's school night, I'd be a little salty, but.
Trustee Michaud or Trustee Borowski, do you want to comment? Please, Chris.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, the sound has been, as Rita said, the elephant in the room, not just for this discussion, but for many discussions on festivals. As part of the Plan Commission process, and maybe kind of directing question maybe to Jeff, is there a way that we can do some sound pressure level mapping or make a determination from a more technical perspective as to what's appropriate or not appropriate? So if we map the residences and the businesses that are affected, what's the right SPL level? I saw the documentation in this submission that says, well, after some time, we're going to turn the sound down a little bit. That's a little bit too nebulous for me. To me, why can't we just, look at all the properties that are affected in the greater downtown area and put together kind of a sound map that, that puts limits on what that decibel level should be during different hours. I think people should be, in Ann's case, she likes music, and maybe somebody else's case they don't. So to me, I think we need to, put some numbers on paper. And I'm wondering, Jeff, if there's a way to do that, where, we don't have to argue about, is it too loud, but what's the SPL? Is it above the limit, or isn't it? Whatever the limit is,
There's certainly other communities that have,
Go ahead,
can you hear me? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, there's certainly other communities that have put in that type of information into their codes for the different decibel levels. So, we could certainly look at that and start drawing comparisons and parallels, what's appropriate and not, and bring that back to the board. I don't know the numbers offhand, Chris.
Yeah, I don't either, Jeff. I was just thinking about it like from a sound pressure level perspective. We can just map it, and I see Mr. Finch is nodding his head. He's always one of those affected by it, and rightfully so. We understand his concerns.
Well, the Illinois statutes are in our complaint, so it's very easy to see under Illinois statutes that noise is considered a pollutant, and the decibels per land use and different types of land. It's in our complaint, but it's also easily attainable online. I would start there.
Thanks, Ben. I think, though, this is the kind of stuff that we're going to give to the Plan Commission to take a look at, right?
Yes, so Mundaline has had some experience with this recently with a case for outdoor concert venue at Sundance, and we had a sound expert that came in and provided an ambient noise level, and that was all reviewed through the Plan Commission. So certainly something that can be done, you know, this is the desire of the commission to start taking a deeper dive into those sound levels and what the impacts are, and they do kind of a heat wave map of what that looks like.
We'll get it.
Is that helpful for decision making? It was, and they, you know, they give you the baseline levels of what it sounded, you know, just every day, like with the traffic going on, and then, but there are like considerations for the changes with wind, with weather, with all sorts of things, so.
And then I can go
So
through
it's not, you know, always constant.
It's not a critical answer.
Yeah.
Amanda and I can go through the process on that, so we can.
Okay, as a part of it, the assignment to the Plan Commission.
So is it my understanding Plan Commission will have this information to deal with?
I couldn't give you that until I spent some time talking with them.
Okay, 'cause again, I'm thinking time. And well, sound is, her thinking on sound is probably different than mine, different than yours. So whose do we use?
The subjectivity, sure.
Yeah, and you could pick a way to the point where, well, we should close up by 6 o'clock because somebody might be sleeping, kind of thing. And I'd hate to see us get to that point in evaluating what is appropriate and what isn't.
I think we'll be able to find a reasonable benchmark that's acceptable. It's not gonna make everybody happy, you're right, trustee, but nothing will make everybody happy, it's gonna be something.
Right, some people you cannot please no matter what you do for them. They're not going to be happy. I'll never be happy at the sound of the train at 4 o'clock in the morning. I will never be happy. And they do it every night at 4 o'clock.
Have you talked to them?
All right, let's, but go back though, because Jenny Michaud didn't have a chance, Trustee Michaud didn't have a chance to say anything. Go ahead, Jenny.
Yeah, I would like to see the Plan Commission take a close look at this. I would like to make it work for everybody. I think some of the programs that they're bringing to the community are really exciting. I can hear the festivals. So I imagine if I were closer, it would be an issue, but I have to believe that there's going to be a way we can come together and find a solution for it. So I would like to see it looked at a little bit more closely by the Plan Commission.
So again, tonight, we're not going to engineer this. What we're charged to do is to make a decision if we want to refer this to the Plan Commission for their review. And then it comes back to us for us to act on or modify or change.
Do you want a motion?
Go for it.
I would move that we refer this to the PCBDA for review in an expeditious manner.
Okay,
Second.
by Trustee Kritzmeyer, seconded by Trustee O'Reilly. That's a roll call. Vote, please.
Trustee Kritzmeyer. Aye. Trustee O'Reilly.
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor. Aye. Trustee Tanucci.
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Trustee Borowski.
Aye.
Trustee Michaud.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous, all ayes, motion carried. Thank you.
Bill, we had a study back in 2018, we actually send decibel levels for our 3 festivals.
Okay.
That we sent to village staff, so you could probably go back some old emails, because it was a topic that we were below the average that was run from local events in the communities around us. As in downtown, I think COVID really also changed the dynamics of the outdoor space. So I think it's a big part of what's gonna be in the future of Long Grove, because now you see everyone has outdoor patios. It's really expanded what we can offer all residents and patrons that come to Long Grove. So it's important that we look at this because it's a big benefit. And I think there's a big draw to now Long Grove having an evening event, whether it's coming to the brewery, coming to Brothers Field, going to Enzo's or Cork. There's a draw here. And I think it's
COVID really shows a whole new side of Longroad and what it has to offer.
And it's our future.
It is, it is.
I did have one question, and this might be more just for what you think with the planning commission. You know, depending on like time of day in a month, you see some of the other businesses that are here. Is it correct that what would apply to one business would apply to all the businesses, as far as like if someone were to say, we want the music off at 9 o'clock in town? Is this something that would impact each business owner in town, that would be a universal rule? Or is this something that would be pick and choose per business?
No, the lack of consistency doesn't serve anybody well. And so I would say that a decision would be made as part of the drafting of the ordinance if there were going to be caps on times, almost like when you have a liquor license. There are certain places that can't do it after 12 o'clock. But I think this would be more of a consistency across the board. But we'll know it after we take a look at it. I'm gonna have to look at it with the village attorney and get an assessment on what's the best approach. Okay. But consistency always serves us well.
Thank you for your presentation, appreciate it. Congrats. All right, so we're gonna keep ourselves moving here. The next item on the agenda is the village engineers report.
Hey, Bill, Michael.
Yep.
Can I just say one thing really quick?
Sure, Mike.
First off, I'm glad everybody's together here. And I just want to mention that I heard the trustees and they keep talking about, we hear the festival noises and we can hear the music at the festivals. What you have to understand here is what Jesse has and what the downtown businesses will have aren't going to be the same decibels and the same mega speakers that they use at these festivals. It's going to be totally a different decibel level. So I know everybody's like, oh my God, it's going to be like having a festival every Friday and Saturday night. It's not going to be anything like that. And I just wanted to say that just to clear it up, because I know I hear and I'm listening that everybody's so worried about these. Oh, I hear the festival. I hear the festival. It's not going to be the same. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. We're going to keep us moving. Jeff Perry, take us away here with the engineers report.
All right, certainly. Good evening, everybody. So you've got the village engineers report in the board packet. I'll kind of walk through that and give a few scheduling updates that have transpired in the last few days. First up, we've got the Stemple parking lot. There's been activity on there yesterday, today, and there will be the rest of the week. The rest of the handicap signs were installed yesterday. They are scheduled to complete the pavement striping tomorrow, but looking at the weather, that may get pushed to Thursday to the weather temperatures. And then today, the soil material placement began in the long island on the, let's call it the north side of the parking lot. And it will continue along the outsides of the parking lot like we talked about at the last board meeting. There's a drop off there and we need the containing edge to preserve the life of the parking lot. So that work is ongoing and continuing. The parking lot was also swept earlier today by Ela Township. So it's in pretty good shape for the craft beer festival here this weekend. I don't have a schedule on the final paving of the entrance at Old McHenry Road yet, but that is going to be able to be completed in a day. So I'm still getting that. We will have the signs and the arrows in there to use that as a two-way access in the meantime. So that's good.
Quick question, Jeff?
Yeah.
When you say is that brush hog thing that last year left all of the like little wire things on the sidewalk?
That was the snow.
That was the snow brush hog.
I think they probably used a leaf blower, would be my guess.
Okay.
Is that what it was?
They went out there with the machine. I told them that it was a mess.
Yeah, but they did go out with the machine and suck it up. Okay, yeah, I mean, I took pictures of it, so I know how bad it was.
Okay, like last year there were these metal things.
Oh, you did, okay. So there was a street sweeper. Okay, got it. All right, good.
There were these metal things left over last.
Yeah, but that was the snow removal brush.
I haven't gone walking to double check this year, but
yeah.
like no princess hurts herself.
Mike?
So, they had to put those little concrete barricades
handicap parking spots. I don't know where they got them from, but they look like they came out of someone's old backyard. It would be nice, I was like, yeah, that's great. But what they put in there was something that looks like it's 20, 30 years old. It would be nice if they actually, you know, have this beautiful parking lot, and now we got these old junky concrete things that they put in there around the handicap spots.
Why'd they put them in there?
Were they there before?
They were not, they put them in so that handicap person comes in, they don't actually drive right to the handicap sign.
Right.
Those are the ones that were there previously, they put them in the park area, they were just sitting there all winter. Yeah, those are the old ones that they were used.
They're falling apart.
All right, so, but who gave them permission to do it?
Probably part of their work. Jeff, was that part of the completion of the work over there to put those, parking blocks back?
If I'm understanding this correctly, we're talking about the wheel stops at the ends of the handicap parking stalls?
Yeah.
Yes, that was part of the improvements, but if I heard you correctly, some of those were a little less than new looking. So we will certainly address that. But yes, it was part of the work. It's pretty standard to have those at the handicap parking stalls, since those stalls, the maneuverability in and out of them is a little different than a standard parking stall.
Okay, thank you.
Were they supposed to put new ones in? Sounds like they put the old ones back.
Yeah, no, well, the old parking lot didn't have any in there. They had those telephone bollards, if you will. So I'm going to check on those. They need to put new ones in there. So we will make sure that that is what is done.
Thanks, Mike, for bringing that up. Thanks, Jeff. Okay, continue on, Jeff.
Next up, the Robert Parker Coffin Path. Chicagoland is our contractor for that, and they're scheduled to be out on Thursday to complete the punch list work and wrap that project up. I will skip the traffic calming, the road program. President Bill, I dropped off the contracts and the contract bonds to Village Hall earlier this afternoon. For that. So if you and Clerk Schmidtke can sign those before you leave tonight, that would be greatly appreciated. Next step of that will be scheduling the pre-construction meeting and getting that under construction as soon as IDOT approves the contract and Mother Nature allows.
I already signed them, and I think Michelle has too, right?
It is.
Yeah, it's all signed.
All right, great, thank you. Next, number 5 is the Village Hall expansion. This goes back a couple board meetings ago. We were talking about the septic system, and we had a soil suitability company test the soil out there, and we confirmed that it was Ashcombe silty clay loam, which is not suitable for a septic field. So the septic system field will not be able to be remain right behind Village Hall in the Ruth Barn. So the village will have options should it expand Village Hall to either put a septic field north of the creek or make a public connection to the sanitary sewer in Old McHenry Road. So
Hey,
we'll have
Jeff?
to, yeah.
Go ahead. So we have 3.5 acres, right? So, I mean, we could probably position a new building somewhere on this property. Did they check the whole property?
I covered that later this afternoon, and north of the creek where you were talking about, looks like we can.
Oh, north of the creek, just at the end of the parking lot here, so you could just, okay, got it. That's what you're saying, okay. Okay, I was thinking somewhere else, but.
So would they require moving the schoolhouse?
We'd have to look at it, but probably yes, to keep it on the campus.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
And we're talking, Jeff and I are getting together, have a meeting to talk the prices on the, either the sewer or the septic, and just kind of nail that dollar amount down. But we're talking probably 6 figures on the sewer right now, just looking at it on first blush.
And what with the septic?
What did we say, 25,000 on the or on doing what we needed to do with septic, Jeff, on the first blush?
Yeah, ballpark was 20 to 25,000, yep.
Okay, and when you're pricing this, is this thinking in terms of going it alone or with the school?
School's hooked up to public sewer already, am I right, Jeff?
Yeah, the school's hooked up to the public sewer,
I was
correct?
thinking water. I was thinking water. Yeah, okay.
So would this be a standard septic field or anything special?
No, it would be a pretty standard septic field. It would be a standard mound system.
Enough to accommodate the 2 facilities we had talked about, though.
Oh, good.
What two?
2 washrooms.
Oh.
How many people?
1, no.
No, if it's a single family, the size of the field depends on the number of bedrooms.
Yeah, it would be, it'd probably be, how we at least looked at it, was single use for both.
Yeah, I talked with a septic designer, and the septic field would need to be designed for, you know, all of the fixtures, which mostly the 2 bathrooms, all of the village staff and all of the transient users. You know, there's different criteria to use for that. You put all of that together, you know, add in the village meetings and those transient users, you're looking at a septic field that's about the size of a 3 or 4 bedroom house.
Thank you. Occasional versus.
That's transient.
All right, no, well, so, but I mean, we have options, but do they have to come back out and test the other soil, or did they test the soil elsewhere here on the campus?
The other soil north of the creek they looked at, that's an Ozaki soil, not to get too technical, but that's conducive for a septic field.
Okay. So we got options. Yep. I mean, that schoolhouse would have to be moved probably, but.
Yeah, I don't think that's a big deal.
But if you want to keep the, I mean, I know we're not talking about this tonight, but if you wanted to keep this facility here and you had another hall just a few feet away, this could all be office space and somebody could easily walk over, right?
Yeah, we're gonna have to,
What?
You need a bridge.
my skilled drafting work, trustee Tanucci and I are gonna have to go back and change.
If you had 2 buildings, right? If you ended up with a separate building over there somewhere, so. I don't know, just trying to figure out how do you make it work, so. But that's not to decide tonight, so.
You know, the village engineer.
Good.
We have so many engineers here.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
All right, keep going, Jeff.
Okay, next on the list, number 6 is the force main replacement project on Robert Parker Coffin Road by Lake County. Shared the schedule last week or 2 weeks ago at the last board meeting on it. Did want to highlight that I had some follow-up discussions with the county over the last 2 weeks because their original schedule was in the Archer parking lot that would be a temporary gravel during the Strawberry Fest, which is at the end of June. And I have convinced, is probably the right word, the county that they need to expedite finishing that parking lot so that way it's all paved surface by the time Strawberry Fest is held the end of June. So that'll be good, and I'll be keeping tabs on them to make sure that that happens. Next on the list, number 7 is the light at downtown Long Grove, the Old McHenry Road, Robert Parker Coffin intersection. That is, oh, excuse me, I got out of order here, but the light, I still don't have a schedule for that. But number 7 is mentions the no right turn on red signs. A few board meetings ago, there was a request to put those up at the, I'll call it the far sides of the intersections to make sure everybody can see those. The county has approved putting up those additional signs, and those will go on the traffic signal poles themselves. Don't have a schedule on that. I traded emails with the county, and they've got quite a few signs that they need to replace because of their winter snowplow operations. And unfortunately, that work is going to take precedence over the additional no right turn on red signs. So I'll keep tabs on a schedule on that. And as soon as something's definitive, I will share that. Number 8 is the community project funding opportunity. And Greg, if you want to jump in on this one, feel free. But this is the one that village staff put together an application for the Lake Michigan water connection and requested full project funding of that project for $2.9 million. Village staff and I had a conference call with Congressman Schneider's office on April 19th to just kind of set the table for that project and kind of bring it off of the page for them for their consideration. After the call, both Village Manager Jackson and myself felt very good about the conversation and the chances. Don't want to jinx anything. I just knocked on the wooden desk here, but that was the reaction from that call. I will say that there was 70 applications made for this community project funding, and they're looking to fund 15 applications, but there is a desire from the Congressman's office to fund a water project, which there was, I don't know, Greg, if we were the only application, but we were one of a few in that bucket, pun intended. So we should know by the end of the month what the determination is on that funding.
It was, we had a good conversation with the Deputy Chief of Staff from the Congressman's office. Fortunately, we've done a lot of work together over the years, and he was able to give us some insight on the project. But to Jeff's point, they're awarding 15 projects, 70 were submitted. Out of the 15, they like to hit each one of the categories. They had not had a single one submitted for a water project with the EPA funding. So we feel extremely positive about that. The conference call was with Washington and the legislative director. Asked us for further information. The community came out, Ryan and our elected officials with letters of support. So we sent a number of letters of support. Mitigation of radium, which is everything they're talking about in Lake County right now, was a big impact for when we were looking at this. And so it was a collective effort between Denise, Natalie, myself, and Jeff, but we're feeling really, really good about it. At least we're getting a strong look on this.
Thank you for doing that fast fire drill, because that would be, I mean, we can't afford it otherwise, and that would be such a great.
This would be full funding?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, they may come back and turn around and say, all right, we want 10%, right, 10, 20, but we went into the full funding. They had 10 days. I think the board remembers the communication that came down from both Congressman Galveston and Congressman Snyder. We had 10 days to put together everything we needed to put together, package it up, make it pretty, and drop it in the lap of the congressman.
Well, the good news is we already did this once, right? So you had the shell of
good
it.
background.
Had the shell of it to submit, so, yeah.
So thanks to everybody for pulling this together. This would be incredible if it comes through.
I told them we'd take 2899992.
I bet everybody around the table is taking $1.
All right, we'll kick in $1 each. Keep going, Jeff.
All right, just briefly, North Kruger Road, the contractor owes us replacement trees, as we talked about last fall. There's a couple dead ones. Looking at getting that done in the next couple weeks. And then
Jeff, those are those two crappy little ones that are along the road?
Yes, yep, on the east side there.
They put in dead?
Yep,
those are the two, okay.
Well,
they've been dead, but we had to follow the process.
Yeah. Well, we lost a year of growth is my point.
Yep.
Hey, Jeff, did they look at all the trees though to make sure we are?
Yeah, but the good ones don't look real good.
I was gonna say, it's awful. I don't know who made that selection, but it was pretty bad. I agree with Bobby on that one.
They went to Walmart for those trees.
All right, go ahead, keep going, Jeff.
Let's see, and I'll jump way down to number 22, number 23, not updated on the engineer's report, but Village Manager Jackson and myself were still working with New Perspective and Harbor Chase on plans to correct their landscaping. Greg, I don't know if you've heard anything lately from either of those to add.
New Perspectives had their engineer get in touch with me just to clear up some information regarding the bond. We've had communication. We're just waiting for some feedback, but they're looking to move forward. Harbor Chase, I need to make another call on. They had a deadline to get their plan to me. They have not met that deadline, so I will either be going back over there or I'll be sending a strongly worded communication to them. So that's where we're at with that. But our New Perspectives, new company, owning that facility, and they seem willing to work with us. So.
And the last thing I'll highlight on the engineer's report is the berm over at the Grove Country Club. Still working with the contractor to get an acceptable as-built. As I mentioned a few board meetings ago, the work looks good. We're just trying to get an as-built survey that accurately reflects what they did out there. And now that I'm starting to see leaves on trees, there'll be a final inspection also by the village forester before that project is accepted.
Thank you, Jeff. Any other questions? Any questions for Jeff? All right, we're going to keep moving. Now, the next item is consideration of traffic calming options. I don't know if the board had a chance to review all the public comment that was submitted. You know, it's there, and a lot, and some more came in after that too as well. You know, one idea might be to get us off that center is to pilot something like we had talked about, maybe piloting a choker to see how that works out and see what the impacts are. We could ask village staff to get some firm estimates on what that might take and what it would require, and maybe that gets us moving along in some direction, and we can just see how it works, trial it for a little bit. I don't know.
I haven't been really loud on this now, I can talk first, so I'll do it again, but, I think we need to try something, and I personally would only want something temporary for our first step.
Okay.
I would suggest we try the Jersey barriers 2 weeks and try 1 or 2 speed bumps, which puts us in a position of, we tried this and we tried this. We knew that each would cause mayhem initially, but at least put it out there so that we can get comments again after each attempt to see what worked and what didn't. Whatever that works.
Yes.
So the question I was going to ask is, are we trying to slow down traffic, or are we trying to dissuade people from using the road in the first place?
I think the theory on this was to slow it down so it would dissuade them.
Right.
Well, and if you look at the choker along Grove Road and the choker on Cuba, on any given day, unless there is an accident on Quentin or 12th, it's just part of the road. Mm-hmm. You know, traffic's normal, people stop, for the most part. You know, they take turns, and it's just like rolling through a stop sign sometimes. Right. You know, but it's initially these things are like, you know, oh my gosh, you know, the sky's falling, and then people are, yeah, you know what I mean?
But didn't you say that Long Grove Road, that the speed is the same it was before?
In Killdeer. In other words, that choker helps, the choker is right on the border of Long Grove and Killdeer.
So we don't care about Killdeer?
I didn't say that.
Oh.
I said that when, it's my observation, the perception is, people always say, oh, I don't speed on Long Grove Road, cop is always there. I'm glad that's the perception, and it's not the reality. When they turn in off of Rand Road headed east, it's 45 miles an hour, 30 to 45. The speed limit is 25. They get to the choker, they stop, they do this thing, they go through, and then they come upon, you know, the light at Old 53.
There's nowhere to speed between the choker, really, because you've got a stop sign in between.
And you've got hills.
Yeah, so it doesn't really do anything for the other side of it, and that's where I see the speeding, is the Killdeer side.
It's the long stretch, you know.
So it doesn't help it. The speeding is still the same on the Killdeer side.
Right.
And I suspect it's probably not much different on the Long Grove side because
Okay.
of the stop sign that's there anyway.
Yeah, the village frequently, especially in, I noticed in summer and fall, put out the, little radar machines
Yeah.
that tells you,
Yeah.
you know, you're going 45, you're going 42, whatever. And I do see people slow down when they approach that, which is interesting.
It is a strange phenomenon.
Yeah, well, I think it's embarrassing because the guy behind you just saw him,
Right.
you know,
Well, I don't speed.
but none of us do.
So at the last meeting, I was saying that if we put one choker, it'll slow down traffic at that discrete point and do nothing for the rest of the road. So what I suggested last time is put a speed hump at each of the 3 proposed choker locations. You're saying 1 choker and 2 speed humps. Actually, I would support that too, on a temporary basis, try it.
To see
Maybe
which one.
put the choker in the middle and the speed humps, you know, put the choker in position 2 and the speed humps in position 1 and 3, each of them temporary, and see what happens, and then go from there. So I would support that.
I see Chris went off mute, so Chris, you have a comment?
Yeah, I do. First of all, we're basing these decisions on traffic data from 2019 that's pre-COVID. The traffic volumes are down everywhere, including both of these roads. You know, I take this route to work every day, and generally avoid Schaefer Checker in the mornings because there's no traffic at the corner of Lake Cook and Arlington Heights right now in the morning, and I go through there at 7:30 to 8:15 every day. There's no traffic. You just make that right turn and you go. So I think we need real live traffic counts that are based on current conditions, because pre-COVID and what's happening today are totally different things in those intersections right now. And I know that's just my anecdotal data, but we're making decisions based on everybody else's anecdotal data as well. I think the traffic study from 2019 is ridiculous for us to base decisions on today. I don't know how expensive it would be to redo that, but you know, I think there's, I don't know how many homes are down there. I tried to count as I was driving through. You know, we're making decisions to ease a situation for 12 or 14 homeowners, whatever the house count is, but blocking a public road to the detriment of the 8,000 other residents of the village, I don't support. It's a publicly funded road where we pay for plowing and we pay for maintenance, and yet we're saying that we're going to modify the road to fix something that we don't know if it's fixable. We don't know if we're fixing speed. We don't know if we're fixing the stop situation. And I don't know. I just don't support blocking the public road when we're not really sure what it is we're actually going to fix. And if we're going to block that road, we should base it on current traffic counts, because the comment, you know, the perception that Jeff left at the meeting last week, our last meeting, was that it's a 16-second delay. Well, yeah, that's, or whatever the number was. It is if there's one car and one car, but that's not what happens down there. It's not going to be a 16-second delay when there's, you know, 300 cars per hour stacked up in this choker. So unless we have real live traffic study data, it's impossible for us to even base a decision saying, well, it's only a 16-second delay. So I'm not supportive of just throwing darts. I think we need to set a goal for what we want to accomplish there. If it's speed control, that's fine. Let people traverse that road at 30 miles an hour, but don't force them to stop and wait in a long line to go one at a time through a choker. If it's the stop sign situation, let's improve our enforcement there somehow. Let's find the money to do it. So yeah, I've got a lot of thoughts on it. I know I may be a little bit of a little one-off on that, but I really don't think we ought to be basing this decision on a 2019 traffic count. I think it's outdated. I think it's old, and I'm not sure what goal we're actually trying to accomplish. Thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. All right. So
Jenny.
She dropped off.
she just dropped off, so she's not feeling well. So, I guess. Pardon? Oh, yeah. Well, before we go there, I know we've got some residents that have some comments. So I want to make sure the board has a chance to talk about this, right? Because we had the opportunity for public comment at the beginning. There wasn't any. So I don't know how this notion of maybe giving Greg an assignment with Jeff to go get some quotes to put some bumps and temporary chokers in, so we have something to look at versus the other thing that was just proposed by Trustee Borowski was basically doing a full-blown or another traffic study. Where does the board sit here?
I'm open to it. I'm a little confused though with, Chris, your statement that traffic isn't now what it was 3 years ago. What your concern is there are going to be 300 cars backed up because of a choker. So to me, it's confusing. My thinking on this really is from, we have a group of residents who have consistently for, I think, almost 2 years now come to us. And they have said, we have a problem. And, I think we all try to make people's lives easier in town instead of harder. And we've got this group who has, what about Towners? Towner has the same problem, and we haven't addressed it.
Well, we have some ideas for them, so.
Where I'm coming from is safety. God forbid, after all of this, something happens. So we give it a shot in real time and see what the results are. Good, bad, indifferent, let us hear, let us know, and then proceed. So, whatever that's worth.
Well, as I said at our last discussion and suggested that people should check out our schools at closing time, and I've been particularly observant since that time, since I suggested it. I have seen 3 near misses, bad near misses. And so if we're going to spend as much time and energy and money on Checker and Schaefer with our cop attending and our staff time, then we better get out to our schools, because that's where it's going to really happen, and it's going to be bad, because people zip in and zip out with not a care in the world. And it's ironic that they're picking up their children.
Which exacerbates the problem, instead of putting kids on the bus.
Exactly. It makes no sense that 2 of these the children were in the car, because they'd already been picked up. And it just flabbergasts me that people can drive that way. And as I mentioned the last time we discussed this, it doesn't matter where you are, it's there. It's on Indian Creek Road. It's on Diamond Lake Road. It's on Gilman. It's on 83. It's on Cuba. It's everywhere. So if you think globally, we better be prepared. If we're going to treat this as a unique problem, then we better be prepared to spend the money for other people who may not be, for whatever reason, voicing their concerns in their little world.
I don't disagree with you.
Now, we have 3 raised hands here. Do you want to hear from them? Go ahead. So, Norbert, you had your hand raised first.
Hi, good evening. So thanks everyone for continuing on this topic. My suggestion here is that we try at least something, whether it's a speed bump or a choker, do those independently of each other, and use those as a model to look at other areas of the village that might benefit from the result of the calming mechanisms that are tested here.
Thank you, Norbert. I don't know who, either Allison or Mark, who put their hand up first, so I'm guessing you're not in the same room.
Hi there.
Allison? Hey
yes.
there.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm also thankful that this is being continued and that we're still talking about this because it is important. And I do understand that there are other issues in Long Grove, that are traffic related. But I think what makes this area different is with the expansion of the Buffalo Creek Forest Preserve, we have a lot of pedestrian traffic here, and we have a lot of bike traffic and a lot of people utilizing these things. And it truly is a dangerous situation because not only is there no shoulder, no sidewalk, no bike lane, there's literally the road stops. And so you have to travel in the road. And when we have, this kind of, speeding and cut through traffic, it poses a risk to anybody that's utilizing these areas, whether you're out walking your dog or whatever. So I think that given there's problems everywhere, if you will, I don't see what the harm is in starting here as a pilot and seeing how it works. I do agree with Norbert that, trying a pinch makes sense. I think that it's no different than a stop sign in a neighborhood where, if there's a long stretch, you put a stop sign in, people have to stop and then they proceed. It's really no different from that. It does just slow the flow of the traffic. Again, with kids getting off the school bus and things like that, there's nowhere for these kids to stand as a safety to get out of the way if there is a car coming. So that's a concern. I was with Jim Kodrowski a week ago, and I know he's in this call as well if he wants to share what he's seeing. But I mean, there's cars ripping by, and they're in a subdivision off of Checker Road that is by a hill, and another situation there where you can't see, and so. Long story short, something needs to get done. I don't think there's anything wrong with trying a pilot to see how it goes, but something has to happen. And we're at the point now where the weather is turning and it's not going to get better. I personally have not seen any change in the traffic since the pandemic, since people have gone back to work. I'm seeing a lot of traffic at Checker and Schaefer Roads. Where I'm at, and again, not stopping at the stop sign, things like this. So I really do feel it's important to do something given the heavy pedestrian traffic in this area and, kids getting off the school bus and so forth. So not to mention, all the trash that's getting thrown on Schaefer Road as a result of all the cut through traffic. So that's
Allison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, thank you for your comments. I'm gonna just turn it over to your husband, I think, Mark, really quick, and keep us moving.
All right, thank you as well for addressing this again, and I'll try to be brief here. I just wanted to mention a couple of things in response to Mr. Borowski's comments. It's clear that the speed limit of 30 miles an hour on Checker Road and 25 miles an hour on Schaefer Road can't be enforced. We don't have the manpower in Long Grove, nor can enforcement of the stop sign at the corner of those two intersections. So I think it's unrealistic to even propose that as a possible solution. I work from home and have been, and since before the pandemic. for several years. And we're right on the corner of Checker and Schaefer. And I have a vantage point out my window where I can see Schaefer and the corner of Checker Road. And things did calm down during the pandemic at some points. But my estimation is we're not far from where we were pre-pandemic now. And my desk actually faces this window, so that views the road. So I see this on a daily basis for many, many hours each day. And my estimation is I think we're probably somewhere in the range of 85 to 90% of where we were pre-pandemic. And, it looks as though we're getting beyond the pandemic as well. So we're already close to where we were traffic-wise. And the last point is, I don't think this is about an issue about convenience for the residents and whether there's 8,000 and how many homes are here. This is a public safety matter, and traffic regulations and traffic calming are put in place for the safety of the residents and the people visiting the area. And I think that's an important point to really keep in mind when you're making this decision. We're not blocking a road. People can still commute on the road. We're trying to calm the situation and make it safe for the things that everybody has been talking about, the school kids getting on and off the bus, people walking, riding bikes, walking their dogs, the people that visit the Forest Reserve, and there's a lot of them. And we've got summer coming. So I would just urge the board to consider at least trying some solution. We've been hoping for some effort or beyond just talking about this for years now, right? So we really hope to see some kind of action in place. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. I'm going to pull this back into the board discussion here. So, I don't know if there's enough support to have Jeff and Greg come back with some options that we can try on a temporary basis and see how it works and get it going pretty quickly as an option. I know versus not doing anything versus studying it more. So
let's say one more thing before you, I'm so sorry, but these roads are used by all of our neighbors. This is not about 8 houses on Checker Road or 10 houses on Checker Road. Everybody from Country Club Estates and other surrounding neighborhoods use these roads. It's not about 8 houses or 10 houses or whatever on Checker Road. I just wanted to share that.
Thanks, Allison. So bring it back in. Do we have enough support to?
You looking for a motion?
I would make a motion. I don't have any opinion whatsoever on what to try first. I just would only support something temporary.
Well, you make a motion to have them put together, those options for us, right?
Recommended sequence of piloting.
Correct, yeah.
That's what I would make a motion on.
But maybe Jeff could guide us too.
What we need to do is, if that's the direction the board's going to give, then Jeff and I will have to sit down, look at the various options that are available. Also, somebody said 2 weeks. I'm not. That may be enough time. I don't think it's enough time, but I would defer to Jeff on something like that. He would be able to tell us if it's adequate time to make an assessment on it. I also would like to bring back the cost to the board.
Correct.
And make sure that the board's aware of what the fiscal impact would be.
Do we do one at a time, or?
You would do one at a time, I think, because otherwise, to have 2 of them there, you wouldn't be able to determine which one has the greater impact unless, again, I'm not an engineer, but it just.
Again, if you do one of anything, that's a discrete point, which does nothing for the rest of the road. I'm not sure what that's gonna show us.
The motion I would make would be to ask the village engineer and staff to come back with a recommended sequence that would allow us to, and the costs that would allow us to evaluate what permanent options we might want to consider later, if any.
Are you okay with that?
Second. And how will you know? How will you know impact?
That would be Jeff. Jeff had said that they would make a study on how the traffic was controlled by the choker and how it could be controlled by the pumps.
Okay, but wouldn't you have to study the traffic before and the traffic after?
I would think so, yes.
And I think too, it gives us another opportunity for. people who live there.
Resident input, if you do something, they'll know what it's like, and so you'll.
Well, I quite honestly, I don't care. I want a more qualitative evaluation. I don't need somebody looking out their window all day telling me what the impact is. Are we going to put it in front of his window? Sorry.
Well, but I think that it would indeed be valuable for the people who don't like it, for the people who say, you know, it's not as bad as I thought, and if you're right there at the crossroads, you know, probably pretty interesting. Just like you watching at the schools, you know, when you stop and pay attention, you see things you didn't see.
Yeah, but there's also bias. And I want to know statistics. I want to know something solid. That this is how it was before, and this is how it is now with this temporary.
There's going to have to be some data to benchmark from.
Exactly. There has to be some kind of a benchmark other than what I think.
Or what I've observed. You know, I understand. I don't know if that is just probably.
Well, Jeff, can you comment on this? How you?
Yeah, I did. I just went off mute. But yeah, I agree with that. That thought that, you know, get some traffic data before and actually probably during the trial period, because, you know, once you take it out, you know, probably going to return to normal. But getting in that would be part of what we would put together. We, you know, Greg and I guess that's kind of where my mind's at, you know, listening to the conversation. But, you know, the sequence to pilot this, you know, starts with, you know, gathering that baseline data. And we'll put that in there with, you know, costs as part of, you know, that sequence for the board to review and to act on.
Okay, well, this benchmark, will it be the number of cars who come through, the speed with which they come through? What's the benchmark?
So number of cars is the most commonly counted, but yes, the two other things come into play. The time at which it's the worst, you know, in the peak hours, you know, north to east, and then in the morning, excuse me, north to east, and then in the evening, south to west. So we want to capture that as well as speed. So it's those three components that we would want to gather.
Chris, you're still off mute, so I don't know if you have more commentary. You're shaking.
No, I agree. I agree with the conversation. You need to know what the goal is, right? So what's your baseline? What's your goal? How do you measure improvement? You know, I guess we need to understand that before just throwing a whatever up and saying, oh, it's good because now whatever, right? We need some metrics on it. I agree with that. So that's why I think I agree with Bobby. You need metrics on it. You need to know what we're actually improving or what we want to improve.
I don't want us to do something that makes people feel good without any correction to the problem.
So we have a motion. I don't know.
Asking village engineering staff to come up with an appropriate sequence, which absolutely should and can involve. Must involve defining goals and baseline measures along with the sequence.
Okay. Seconded by Trustee O'Reilly. Pardon?
But I already seconded it.
Oh, you seconded it already. Okay, so it's already okay.
Okay.
Seconded by Trustee O'Connor, and I guess that's a roll call.
Okay. Trustee Chris Meyer. Aye. Trustee Borowski.
I think you should ask the person who seconded that first, shouldn't you, by Robert Rules of Order?
I messed up on it. Trustee O'Connor. Aye. Trustee Borowski.
Aye.
Trustee O'Reilly. Aye.
And trustee Sanucci.
Aye.
Motion carried. The next one is a very exciting one. We apparently need to buy more salt.
I move we approve this.
So,
I have one question, and that is, are we certain that we use the most environmentally protective salt areas?
Defer to the manager. He's been charged with salt.
That's something that we're looking into right now, like, it's on, that was basically next on our list of kind of items that to dig into. Because there's many aspects to that, there's the environmental, there's the, there were some items that were actually looked at quite some time ago. I looked back, I mean, I can't remember how many years ago, but it was, the adding the brine to the salt, things like that, yeah. So that was, so there's a ton of things that we're digging into right now.
Okay,
So that's
so
something.
we're not gonna buy it now,
We have to buy now. This is something that has to happen now. We have like a 45-day window to accept this, or we are,
Okay, what if what if it's not? What if we could do better with a better product? Is there a way we can change that midstream?
We have to
So
buy
we're
Well,
committed for the year.
We're committed for the year.
Okay.
but can I make a comment though? But we can always store it, right? With our current contract, they can stay there longer. So if we find out a way to reduce salt consumption, that means we'll have more salt for the following year.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I'm not talking quantity, I'm talking quality.
Oh, quality, okay, got it.
Yeah.
We have to buy at least 80% of it.
Okay, so, but we can put this on the future.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened to beet juice idea?
People are using beet juice.
You have to have the equipment that does it. Our current contractor does not. When we met with Elam Township, we had talked to them about how they conduct the plowing activity during the season, and we talked about different things, including beet juice. But it requires a special fit to the vehicles that our current vendor doesn't have.
Got it.
That is part of the issue, is equipment and technology.
But-
Can we use it on our sidewalks?
Beet juice?
Yeah.
Then nobody thinks.
I don't know, but, yeah, who knows what the size.
Be Christmassy.
Well, Bobby, those are all the things
But,
that we're
hey, Bobby,
to get a really
can, I didn't understand, so there's an element of buying all this salt, and the other element is the environment, right? And, using less of it so that we don't impact the environment. So I just want to make sure I understood it. You were more worried about the environment at this point, right?
I am worried about the quality. Is there a better quality than what we buy
Oh, quality of the salt.
of the salt?
Oh, okay, I went,
Yeah,
yeah.
Different chemicals.
she understood.
Yeah, sorry, I missed it, Bobby. I just, literally, I was,
I'm sorry, yeah.
no, I didn't get it, because I was thinking salt is salt.
No, the salt isn't salt.
And we're getting the bulk buy, this is the stuff that, Lake County.
But if we're committed for the year, I know somebody's looking
Sorry,
at it.
my head, I'm so sorry, Bobby.
So,
Well,
yeah.
there's a live motion. If we pass the motion, we'll be committed.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
so
yeah.
it was moved by trustee Kritzmeyer, who seconded it, I think.
We already voted, didn't we?
No, we haven't voted yet. Seconded by trustee O'Connor. That's a roll call.
Trustee Kritzmeyer. Aye. Trustee O'Connor.
Aye.
Trustee Borowski.
Aye.
Trustee O'Reilly.
Aye.
And trustee Sanucci.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. All right, so the next item on the agenda is the consideration of approval of the Country Club Meadows Elementary School raffle application for May 19th, 2022 at Country Meadows Elementary School, and a waiver of the $25 application fee.
Second.
Move.
Just to point out for the members of the board that I'm taking great satisfaction in saying that there was an issue about the bond waiver and things and terminology that we were wondering, should we just extract out of the application because it didn't make a lot of sense. These will be the last two applications you see with the old communication. The new applications have been completed and are on our website.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, so, who made the motion?
I did.
Okay, moved by trustee O'Reilly, seconded by
I second.
trustee O'Connor.
Trustee O'Reilly.
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor.
Aye.
Trustee Borowski.
Yes,
You're
sorry.
muted.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, aye.
Trustee Kritzmeyer. Aye. Trustee Tanucci.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried, and Chris will be happy about that new application. Just the first thing I said when I saw it, what about that new application? All right, motion carried. Consideration of the approval of the HDLGBA special event application for Chocolate Fest in the downtown.
Motion to approve.
Moved by trustee O'Reilly, seconded by
Second.
trustee Kritzmeyer.
Trustee O'Reilly.
Aye.
Trustee Kritzmeyer. Aye. Trustee Borowski.
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor.
I have a question. Are we collecting sales tax at these festivals?
We are, I'll start with the most recent event that happened downtown. We put all our ducks in a row. We worked with with the management company on that, and we've got that squared away. We're currently working with the HDLGBA to get the list of the vendors so we can get the permits out and get the tax information. And I am auditing tax dollars.
In time for the festival?
Well, we cannot, obviously, we can't audit what's been paid until it's paid, but we will be prepared to have our list of vendors that will be participating, and then within the 60 to 90-day window afterwards, that's when we'll audit. Because that's when the records get to us.
Okay. Aye. Thank you.
And trustee Tanucci.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is consideration of an approval of a special event application for Cars and Cigars Special Olympics.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, so that was moved by trustee O'Reilly, seconded by trustee O'Connor.
Trustee O'Reilly.
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor. Aye. Trustee Borowski.
Aye.
Trustee Kritzmeyer. Aye. Trustee Tanucci.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Next one, let me at least say it first. Consideration of approval of Newman Cigars and More raffle application, July 24, 22, at 445 Robert Parker Coffin Road, and a waiver of the $25 application fee.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, hold on a second. Moved by trustee O'Reilly, seconded by trustee O'Connor. Roll call, please.
Trustee O'Reilly.
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor. Aye. Trustee Borowski.
Aye, but I have a follow-up question.
Okay, finish it, and then we'll do the follow-up.
Trustee Kritzmeyer. Aye. Trustee Tanucci.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm just curious why, like, Killdeer law enforcement's involved in this as opposed to Lake County Sheriff, and kind of the same question I had last year, I thought. Oh, hey, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is the Cars event, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they do it every year. I was just curious why, like, Lake County Sheriff isn't involved, if anybody knows. Not that it matters, but.
Association.
Relationship that
Yeah.
we have with Chief Belinsky over at the Kildare Police Department is also on the executive board for Special Olympics.
That's it.
I see.
And so
Okay.
That's how that relationship is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're glad they're having it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys know that that's not the only Special Olympics event in town?
Which,
Royal Country Club also does a Special Olympics, event, I think in May. Where they do a golf, charity event where they raise money for it as well.
got it. Thanks, Mike.
I'm not sure we'd be invited. I'm not sure we'd be invited.
We're through all that. We're good, so. All right.
Would these be candidates in the future for some sort of consent agenda?
Could be, yes. Let's keep ourselves moving. So now we have the village and president.
We'll do the consent agenda as soon as we have our first, workshop.
We already had one workshop, but as soon as we have.
Well, no, that wasn't the workshop in the workshop sense.
I already sent an email asking for a schedule this week.
Okay, we're gonna keep ourselves moving. We heard you. The president and trustee reports. The only thing I have is that I did attend the Vernon Township Energy Commission meeting last Wednesday before I headed out of town. Congressman Schneider was there and his staff joined the meeting. And after Congressman Schneider said a few words, His staff went through some grants that are existing, and some upcoming grants. I posted the material, I created a folder last night, and I posted it up there on the share drive. If you read most of those grants, if not all of them, we don't really qualify for them.
Right.
So, we'll just keep working at it, but I put both those presentations up there.
Maybe he'll have some change.
Maybe what?
Maybe he'll have some change left over for us.
You never know. You never know. So that's the end.
The water grant, all is forgiven.
There you go. End of my report. I'll turn it over to Trustee Borowski. I think you had a meeting this past week too.
It was 2 weeks ago, I guess. We did, at the SWALCO meeting, the only real significant issue, SWALCO board passed a resolution to request municipalities to sign up or pass their own resolution to support and encourage the use of compostable materials within the village on village projects or projects that we get influence. And on one hand, you think that's kind of a weird thing, like, you know, where do you get compostables from? What do you do with them? But composted materials could be used to top dress the soccer field, as an example. So in the package, and I talked to Manager Jackson, we have to pull a resolution out that was a suggested template, and we'll circulate that. You know, I think it's good. I just don't know how applicable it is, because we really don't have too many municipal projects. But basically, it encourages us, encouraging through the resolution, people to use locally sourced compost and to use it when possible. So that was really the main point from the meeting, I think. Carpet recycling bill has stalled in Springfield, and mostly because the strong carpet lobby has delayed it, and it's probably, they're not sure, SWALCO's not sure if it's going to make it through this particular session or not. But you know, it's a difficult thing because not all carpet is recyclable. So there may be some added costs up front that the new purchaser might be forced to swallow to try to find a way to dispose of carpet without putting it in the landfill. So more to follow on that, I'm sure. That's all.
Any questions for Chris? Thank you for the report, Chris. Trustee Kritzmeyer? Trustee Misha's not here. Trustee O'Connor?
The only topic Jeff and I discussed that hasn't been brought up tonight, I spoke about towners having the same issues as other communities. And we briefly talked about the benefits or lack thereof of the no right turn or no left turn appropriate signs for, 7 to 9 and 4 to 6, to maybe alleviate some of that, whatever, so.
I went out there 4 times in the last 2 weeks, met with John, or had conversations on the phone with John Zapata, and then Joe, I can't remember his last name.
Like Schroeder or something?
Yeah, it escapes me, but I've been out there 4 times to look at the traffic as well as the water issue that's down at the end, and one of the things we talked about was redirecting traffic, how it would affect the next street over, and so we're looking at that, and then Jeff and I had some conversations as well. I promised the Towner residents up there that I would follow up with them, so we're still working on that.
Thank you for that.
Has there ever been any thought given to closing off where the light is, before the commercial building, closing that off, making it a cul-de-sac, so people can't go through?
So you wouldn't be able to come off of 83 going west onto Osage Lane, Osage Road there.
Yeah.
It's we didn't talk about that, but what we did talk was the potential of blocking traffic at the north end at Willowbrook and Osage, but then that would just, because I asked how would the residents feel about that, they said the residents wouldn't have a problem, but then when I went and drove around the neighborhood, I'm saying, okay, it's just going to go to the next block and we're going to have the same issue. So it certainly bears, I'll take a look at it.
Well, because people use it because of the light.
Right, that's exactly right.
And so if you block, and it's a place where you could, theoretically, it would be an inconvenience to the neighbors, but it would solve the problem.
It's
It
definitely,
would force that empty lot to go commercial.
Well, help me understand how people cut through there, right? Because I made the assumption, I don't know that they come off of 83, they make a left
I think it's.
by Cutler,
I think
and
it's
they come
both.
through back to the
I think
stoplight.
it's one direction in the morning and one in the evening.
well,
Try to avoid.
I asked the traffic flow as well, and he says that, yeah, that they're avoiding that light and they're making that left, onto Osage Road, and then making the right onto Osage Lane and taking it up to Willowbrook
Yeah.
to make that cut.
Yeah.
Right.
But it goes both ways?
Which,
Yeah, it's a two-way street, but he said, the residents over there said that the, most traffic flow is from south to north.
South and north, that's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
because what you could do is you could block off the road so that it's a one-way road out only at Osage,
She's
right by
saying
Cutler.
block it off and then it's two-way to a cul-de-sac. There is no cut-through. Your only exit and entrance is on 45.
The stoplight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did that
no,
in Enbridge
no,
on
no,
Dayton Road.
there's no stoplight there.
No, there's a stoplight up here.
No, you.
She's saying
avoid
you block it
that
off at the
stop.
stoplight, yeah, so.
Block off the stoplight. And you could only get out on 83. Or you could do it the reverse.
The other way is
Either
where,
way, either
the
way.
safety way is probably the other way. 'cause-
I think so too. Yeah, as I think, going left on 83 is
Right.
not pretty.
It's not pretty right, so, but, anyways,
But it's
like that.
it's a solution.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you did it at 83, you would, that one empty lot that is technically R2, but nobody should ever put a residence there.
Right, right.
Would be on the 83 side.
Yeah.
71, 81, 83.
Well, that's a low-cost solution,
Yeah, yeah,
but it'll solve the cut-through if the residents are okay with it.
it would.
Yeah, so, all right. Anything else?
The, Route 53 group will meet, I don't know yet.
We don't know when they're gonna meet again, yeah, they haven't told us.
They keep, they're alive and well.
Good.
And working on it. We did get a communication recently, I forget who sent it through, who the source was for this information, it's kind of like hearsay, but, the governor has confirmed that the road is dead.
That's good. Anything else?
End of report.
Thank you. Trustee,
When you say the governor has said the road is dead, what does that mean?
The original.
That while he's governor?
Of course.
Yeah, so it's kind of like,
Enough of
it's
politics.
sick, but it's not dead.
I said, source of which I can't remember.
Okay. Okay.
Of course that's what I mean.
Trustee O'Reilly?
But he's the one who appointed the commission, so that's a good thing for us.
Yeah. I have nothing.
Trustee Tanucci?
Nothing this time.
Okay, village managers report?
Some things real quick. We have filed our ARPA paperwork. And so the first quarter filing for that funding has been completed. You have to help me, Trustee O'Reilly. The Long Grove Garden Club.
The Long Grove Kildare.
Kildare Garden Club, will be doing a Blue Star Memorial, putting it in and installing it over in the Buffalo Creek Park. That'll be happening on May 28th at 10 a.m. The Long Grove Community Church is actively involved with it. Ela Township is working with the installation and working with us and doing that at no charge for the garden club. And everybody here has been invited, all the board members have been invited to that event. I'll send out some more information as it gets closer.
And if you know of a veteran, let them know. Because they're out there.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
The plant sale is May 7th, I think.
What?
The plant sale from the garden club.
Now, Trustee Kritzmeyer left the room, but we can come back to it if you want and go to the minutes first. How about we hold the treasurer's report until she walks back in the room? approval of the board meeting minutes from the April 12th, 2022 special board meeting minutes, the April 12th, 2022 strategic board meeting minutes. I guess it's just both, right? Don't we have 3 sets here?
3 sets.
Yeah, 3 sets of meeting minutes. So
we're approving all of them, right?
yes, unless there's corrections, right? The minutes of the special meeting, for the traffic calming, minutes of the special village strategic board meeting, and then the minutes from our last board meeting on April 12th.
Motion to approve.
Moved by trustee O'Reilly. Seconded by trustee O'Connor. Roll call, please.
Trustee O'Reilly?
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor? Aye. Trustee Borowski?
My name's spelled wrong in the minutes of special meeting of the Board of Trustees of Long Grove. So the special meeting, my name's spelled wrong at the bottom.
I will correct that.
Thank you.
Trustee Kritzmeyer? Aye. And trustee Tanucci?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Let's go back to the treasurer's report. I saved that one for Ann to comment on if she has anything.
Not really. We're building up quite the reserve, and I made mention, I think at this point we need to make sure that we write rainy day fund. We don't need a complete rainy day fund, but also it'll be helpful if we find out from our Lake Michigan water opportunity if we need to be able to kick in 10%. That will be an appropriate use there.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion?
I move that we approve, or that we accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
Moved by trustee Kritzmeyer, seconded by trustee O'Reilly. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kritzmeyer? Aye. Trustee O'Reilly?
Aye.
Trustee Borowski?
Aye.
Oh, then aye. Yeah, aye.
Aye. Yes.
Trustee O'Connor?
Aye.
And trustee Tanucci?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried.
Can I ask a question about the bills?
Yes.
Why did we pay ComEd almost $2,200 in March?
What is this?
ComEd, we paid them $2,200 in March, $21.89.
Don't we pay for the street lamps and everything?
Huh?
We pay for street lights and stuff?
We pay for a lot of street lights. Some of them we pay for 100%, some we share with the county and other entities.
The traffic signals, right?
That's how much those are?
It's lights, it's signals, it's the electricity for the water plant. I mean, we pay a lot that comes.
Oh, yeah, that's what
Got it. Just curious.
Okay.
I asked years ago why we couldn't consolidate them, but they can't build that way.
And Tesla Energy, what do we?
Oh, those would be refunding
This would be.
the security deposits to put the plugs in people's houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sometimes they go to the homeowner, sometimes they go to the contractor.
Got it. That's all, just a question.
All right, any other questions?
No.
Okay. All right, so now we have, we wanted to go into executive session tonight, right?
We do.
We do, right? Yeah. Yeah. So,
Why are these people here?
well, we're gonna go, we're gonna make a motion to go into executive session.
Are you waiting on those two people?
They're gonna leave when we're not gonna, we're just gonna make a.
They're just like us. No, they don't.
We can make the motion and then, and then we'll actually go into executive session, but it'll give us time to say goodbye to everyone, so.
Okay.
Somebody want to make that? Okay, moved by trustee O'Reilly, seconded by trustee O'Connor. Roll call, please.
That's a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of personnel, I believe.
No, and there's one more too.
The finance, not finance.
I think the finance probably will discuss it for like a brief shining moment.
So how do we say that? So Ann just wants to set up for a future meeting.
Okay, it would be for investments, that sale or purchase of investments, and for personnel.
Okay, that's the motion. Roll call, please.
Trustee O'Reilly?
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor? Aye. Trustee Borowski?
Aye.
Trustee Kritzmeyer? Aye. Trustee Tanucci?
Aye.
Okay.
Now, I get to say you have to leave.
Now you guys.
That's all she wanted to do.
Is that backstory here?
Thanks for being here.
We kicked her out Tuesday.
Thanks, Mike.
I see.
Still got a bunch of people at the Burger King?
Close out Tuesday or tomorrow on application, so I'll get.
Yeah, I know. Linda called me, so I know. Yeah.
It's good to see you, Ryan.
Bye.
While you're in this.
Oh, wow. All right. Cool. Yeah, it's just bad timing, so.
I was there for the beginning of it.
6:30. Yeah, thank you for coming over.
Damn sure. I'm gonna start sending myself or something.
I haven't seen it yet, no. Haven't seen nothing yet. Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, yep.
Good night, Mike.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Okay, so we
Good night,
don't
everybody.
need Michael. Yep, good night. We don't need Jeff Perry, right?
Not for my topic.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Night, everybody.
And, good night, Mike.
Good night.
Thanks for being here, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
And let's see now, I think what I can do is I will put us in a breakout room. I think that works, right? So,
Greg, you want me?
Go home.
Sure, I don't mind, I just don't know if you want. Go home. Okay. We don't want you.
So there.
Thank you. Have a
Good night.
You didn't hear me say that.
Very well done. It's seamless,
Indeed.
or at least seemingly so. I don't.
Seems pretty quiet. Greg, can you hear us?
There.
okay. You're all there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here.
All right, yeah, we're, okay, good. Good, this is kind of making work too much.
You needed more steps today, right?
That's it. Okay, so Vic, how do we handle this? Help me set this up.
Okay, we would need a motion to authorize the $7,500 bonus. And that would be for fiscal 21-22. And then just as a footnote, at the next meeting, we should have a motion to ratify this action.
I move that we, I move payment of a bonus to our village manager Jackson, $7,500, applicable to the fiscal year 21-22.
Second.
Okay, so moved by trustee Kritzmeyer, seconded by trustee O'Reilly. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kritzmeyer? Aye. Trustee O'Reilly?
Aye.
Trustee Borowski?
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor? Aye. Trustee Panucci?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. I'm going to adjourn the meeting, right, Vic? Do you know of any,
Yep.
nothing else to talk
We
about?
were ready to go.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by trustee O'Reilly,
Second.
seconded by trustee O'Connor.
Trustee O'Reilly?
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor? Aye. Trustee Borowski?
Aye.
Trustee Kritzmeyer? Aye. Trustee Panucci?
Okay, meeting adjourned. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night. Am I correct? Did the men not move or second anything tonight?
You're all set there.
I think we were on a roll today.
Thanks,
Get a word in edgewise.
thanks, everyone.